and I actually just got in some new kind of just decorational things like table runners. So it's very cool to kind of at least get some new atmosphere building material. Alright. Because one of the other side projects I'm doing is cleaning out my mom's basement. So the word project is definitely required, because it was full and now it is almost empty. So now I mean, we started selling kind of her fencing. She had a big fencing collection, stuff like that. Very big into Snoopy. So as people who are big into that, and Garfield, they collect everything. So she had a bunch of that. So we're slowly moving through everything, as well as just the overall collection of stuff over the years, clothing, my first grade drawings that are not something that I want the world to see. But ironically enough, one of the things that we did find was like my first short story, which was made with pictures, so technically a comic, and it was about how cheetahs got spots.
With your piece of paper, we are going to make a quick 3-panel comic.
Essentially, 90% of our business is this car or the car or whatever it is that we're taking, because we've had a few experiences already which have humbled me a little bit, and making me want to learn a little bit more about cars. Changed my first front brakes the other week, which did not go well, but I did it. However, starting to see kind of like how it being like the prerequisite is the car, because some people, some of the libraries and stuff, they do the Zoom or the digital interface workshops, and it's probably what kept a lot of the programming alive during the lockdown. But I just don't see, I mean, not only would our energy not get across, but I don't see me getting the same joy out of it. Now we would probably save a lot on so much of these different things, especially even setup. I spend so much of my time in setup and tear down, but it's the in-person thing that's kind of like making it so rewarding for me anyways.
If you can get your piece of paper and then make three squares. You can make them preferably a little bit bigger, but make 3 squares because we're going to put drawings in the comic. So these are the panels, yes.
Can we do rectangles?
You can do rectangles, that way you have more space.
Wait, last time you said we would make comics.
We're making a comic right now. Have you drawn your panels? Is that a yes?
We've definitely canvassed like a lot with like our own emails, but it's now starting to get to that tipping point where some people, they're either like hearing us through emails and then getting their attention again through another library, or seeing one of our workshops on Facebook through a library or our Facebook. Or it's basically kind of now starting to touch the point where like a lot of our presence in different places are being seen, because it used to be just kind of us researching for the library's youth programmer, reaching out to them, telling them what we do, seeing if they're interested, and kind of keep rinse and repeat and kind of just seeing who was interested. So now it's starting to get to that tipping point where finally people are like, oh, I heard you through whatever library nearby. Like the one week in the summer, I drove to St. Louis and back 3 times. So it was like when I was doing that, I didn't necessarily want to stop at any more libraries and tell them what I was doing. I just wanted to kind of get home. So I'm going to get back into that too, because I've noticed that, seeing my presence is like a lot of the selling point, and they kind of get to pick up on that. But it always comes with, you got to drive, gas, wear and tear, it's raining, all the little hiccups, which like the good hiccup now has been answering emails. So I guess that's kind of what's been keeping me grounded, staying from not going out. But that's the good one. So we've been scheduling a lot.
So now we're going to make a comic. So we need to have an idea for a comic. Before we make a comic, we don't just start drawing it. We got to plan it out with a storyboard, all right? So we need to start brainstorming. So if you're tapping, please don't tap. So let's think of an idea. What should we make a comic about? Could it be about plankton?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob? Who should it be about?
Plankton getting the secret from
Anybody. We're going to need everybody saying something so we get it through. You didn't even have an idea. You just raised your hand.
About a girl who lost her teddy.
Okay. So someone who lost their teddy.
Plankton that's trying to get the secret from
Plankton. A butter princess.
about
About a princess.
And then it's usually sometimes it's always someone different. I mean, when I first started doing these, it was more motivational, intense, like David Goggins, if you know the names and stuff like that. But now I listen to my favorite speaker. He's always been my favorite speaker, but Alan Watts, where he's much more Buddhist, much more Zen, and kind of. Whereas before I was trying to get my mind so hyped, like, all right, I can do this. I can speak in front of people. And now it's much more I'm trying to calm my mind from like, don't worry about the emails, don't worry about the creating or whatever it is. So it is kind of a fun full circle. And if you don't know, it's like Alan Watts. If you don't listen to him enough, there's never enough. So
Who should be our main character?
Plankton.
What about a plankton?
A child named Emily who lost her.
Well, we can't get too far. We got 3 panels. So I think, where's the plankton mascot? We got plankton over here? You still doing good? Okay. So let's try to do plankton.
Humbled himself, was found in fashion as a man, and became obedient to death.
I was surprised more like when I was trying to get people to do 2 hours and they would be like, well, how many days is it? And of course I was like, well, 1 day. And the more they kind of asked that question, started me piquing my interest, like, all right, well, multiple, because with comics, I could spend a whole day talking about paneling, I could spend a whole day talking about words, I could spend a whole day talking about stringed instruments for one reason or another, and kind of still bring it together. So I don't even remember what it was. It's one of those things with like this whole experience with the whole Do Art production thing. It's like even with like getting the idea to do the workshops. Like if you would have told me a year ago, even I would have been like, why would I wouldn't have believed you. It wouldn't have been like a real idea. But it came to me. It kind of like I can't take credit for the idea. It was like an idea that came to me, and it was another idea for like the 5-week thing. Like I was just like in the middle of emailing someone. I think it was the Rockford YMCA, and I was like, well, we can offer a 5-week program, and they wanted to do that more so, and now it's been a hit. Now Barrington. Not only do they do it, but they're doing it 2 5-week programs for 2 different ages. So that's 20 different workshops. And that's Barrington, as well as Geneva is doing the exact same thing. Mokina, Greendale, Wisconsin. I can't even think of them all until I look at my schedule. But so it's like on one day in April, it's like every day I'm going to a different park district.
What should we have plankton be doing? Like what?
Trying to get in the vault.
But like 3 panels. So like they're doing something really quick. And what? Scared. All right. So trying to get at the formula. So is that good for like running? Is that going through some lasers and doing the formula?
Yeah.
So plankton trying to get the formula. What? So what if plankton's like, like in bank when they got like the lasers.
Oh, like laser eyes.
Yeah, and you gotta like dive through the lasers.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they're like, you gotta do like your,
Yeah.
you know, your dance thing. What if we did something like that? So Plankton's got to do that to get the formula.
Yeah.
So he's jumping, he's getting the formula.
Oh, like lasers trying to shoot out, like he needs to do like.
So like when they're doing that type of stealing, what are they usually wearing?
Stealing the black.
All black, right? So we could have Plankton wearing all black with just the antennas, and then just like his eyes showing, so we know it's Plankton. And then he's diving through the lasers, trying to get the formula. But what's waiting at the last thing when he gets the formula that makes him scared? The police, or
The coders.
what if it's just like the shadow of Mr. Krabs?
Yeah.
So that way we got him running, jumping, and scared.
language, which are respectively
Now we're gonna do 5-week programs for painting and 5-week programs for poetry. And our new workshop is gonna be acting workshop. Just because like acting is so, essentially what we already do is like very interactive and plays in being to characters. And you know, you're doing a pop pose, and I'm already playing a character already in multiple occasions, so a hop, skip, and a jump, and it's like we're already doing an acting workshop. So I'm really interested in trying to do that because it's another art form where we can kind of cross upon all types of different things, and it doesn't need to be just whatever the genre of acting is, which I've been messing a little bit more with the idea of calling them like comic book variety shows, because I'm already juggling and I'm already bringing in the unicycle, and soon it'll be this and soon it'll be that. So I mess with the idea, but then another thing is with like descriptions, you don't want to have too many words. So I've learned park districts don't like that because they put everything on a brochure, so they love any name that is 2 words less.
So now we're gonna write this out. It's called storyboarding. This is like the pre-planning. If you make any work of art, you always want to storyboard it. If you want to make a painting, you want to know where things are going.
I don't know you.
So we gotta stay on track. So in the first one, Plankton will be like, how does someone, when they like in the lasers, you know, they're like doing the dance, right? The Mission Impossible, right? How do they go like that over the lasers? So we'll have Plankton stepping over the lasers, kind of flipping through the lasers. Then we'll have him about to grab this. So what? Surfing? So now you threw me with the jumping, running, being scared. Okay, so what should we have in the second panel though? So he's diving through the lasers, and then at the end he has the shadow of Plankton of who?
Mr. Chris.
Making him scared, right? So what should happen in the middle? He's diving through the lasers. Mr. Krabs makes him scared. I'm trying to think of how to get surfing in there, but if you think of a way, you let me know.
He's about to pick up the formula.
So it's like maybe the light is like the spotlight is on him. He's about to pick the formula. What's your idea?
So there's like one of those boards that are really like ready to fall down, but there's a shark tank under there and there's a surfboard under there.
So she's trying so hard to get the surfing in there. I like it. So that might be a good idea. So maybe you kind of have a shark tank going through, but we're gonna stick with Plankton's jumping through the lasers. Plankton's, what does he do? But he gets the formula, right? Lights on it, and then maybe in his speech bubble, it's like surfing, like.
Ooh, you okay? Yeah, I barely got it.
So in this one, he'll be thought bubble will be surfing, like, because when you splash bubble, when you're thinking about surfing, it's like you having a good time, right?
Yeah, but then maybe if you get to the deeper end.
See what you're doing with her imagination? You're like blowing her imagination up every time. It's like you're killing it if you get into the deep. So I'm gonna see sharks on yours and everything, okay? And then we'll have the shadow of Mr. Krabs. Got it?
Yeah.
I know that took a little bit, but we finally got the structure, okay?
Continue on Illinois 2.
But the other thing is like the juggling of this business thinking and creative thinking, whereas creatively I was just kind of being, one workshop. I can kind of get at everything. It's a performance almost, and I don't know, it was more straightforward. But like the program allows me to kind of do many more workshops. It allows me to kind of straighten out my schedule beforehand. So now I know that I'm going to, for instance, Rockford right now beforehand, so I can always plan around that. Whereas it used to be, I'm in a different place every time, and I'm like scrambling for one workshop from this one town. So it stabilizes a lot, and now we have more workshops scheduled than I've actually done right now. So that's been a big flip of the strategy, as well as planning on how do I even, now that I have to slow down on scheduling, how do we make each one better? Bigger banners, more instruments, and just kind of all around creativity.
Okay, so for the first thing, can I get someone up here to pose as Plankton? No. Okay. You put your hand up first or something? And then you realize what you were doing? Alright. So when Plankton's like going through the lasers, he's gotta like jump over the lasers, right? How do they do it when they're ninjas? They do kind of ballerina like, right? So can you act like you're bouncing over? You're taking over? So we're gonna draw our Plankton with a bunch of lasers in the room, and Plankton stepping over the lasers, okay? We got it? So what are we drawing? Jumping in the lasers, all right? So you're stepping through the lasers. So do the one, and then once we finish drawing, you can catch up and do it, okay? All right, so what type of sound would lasers make? So make sure you have some onomatopoeia that are showing what the sound the lasers make. And maybe there's like some sweat on Plankton's head, because is it hard doing that on one foot? So imagine if you were doing, and what would Plankton be wearing?
Black suit.
A black suit, like the ninja suit, right? So, but it would be like showing his eye only.
Because it's more than doing art. It's, I'm juggling, I'm trying to crack jokes, and then not always successfully.
I'm actually going to do my Plankton. He's wearing a ski mask, but the ski mask takes up his whole body. Insert laughter here.
There's always those days, and you find little tips and tricks of how to motivate, whether it's listening to Alan Watts or getting there a little bit later. I don't know, all types of what I do in the morning, whether I work out, or do my yoga, all of that. And the new thing is music. I've realized I was big into music. It's my first love, and I've definitely shaded away because of everything else. But like music will calm you down. Like playing it and creating it is like for sure the answer to most things. Which I have a new toy today that I will be debuting, and it is by far one of the coolest things that my favorite thing. Just because it's a musical instrument, that would be the key, the hint. But it's unique. Its uniqueness. It's kind of made for what I need it for. To kind of be some carried for, unique, make someone want to draw it. So it's going to be exciting.
Okay, so this would be a good part to put a thought bubble. All right, we got all our Plankton pose. Did you get your Plankton pose? Yeah. So you can start to take a break. I know your shoulder's been hurting. You already flew through it, right? I want to see you drop me another one. No, can you give me one to take home? All right. So get some lasers in there. Now I'm gonna put a thought bubble in here because the whole time we're gonna make this a silent comic. There's not gonna be any words. So in my thought bubble, what is he going after? What does we have him chasing? What do we have? What does Plankton always chase? The formula. So I'm gonna put a picture of the formula in his thought bubble so we know he's going after the formula.
Because we always gear our workshops to different ages. especially kind of getting into the much more conceptual idea of art and how we kind of tap into inspiration and stuff that I get to very, very little I get to tap into a little bit when I'm talking to the younger kids at the libraries. You know, we always talk about what inspiration is, and we do our little affirmation chant. But at a college or something, or even we've done a graphic novel one, and even at those where I'm able to kind of, you're able to talk a little bit more about self-expression or inner inspiration. Whereas that's an idea I always try to infuse into the kids slowly, is that inspiration is not just a flout or a beautiful scene, right? It's not outside of us, but it's being sad or being happy. And all very important things that I think that, you know, you can get into through creativity, which is particularly like, I know this is always, I mean, maybe not, but I can see it being like a thing that older, you know, once you get to a certain age, you're always like, if I had that type of person when I was my age growing up, if I would have had someone like that at a certain age, you know, especially in college when you're making all of these long-term decisions about your friends, your habits, your philosophies, your interests. And if I would have had someone who was just saying, like, you could do this, even just a little bit of your life, you know, be disciplined like this, or, you know, just a little bit, it would have made a big difference. So that's why we kind of, I feel like I initially wanted to do colleges, because I feel like that, at the time, I thought that would be easier and more digestible for my already art form. And then we started doing kids, like doing the workshops for the kids at the libraries, and I started realizing just how fun that was. And they're so creative. You know, they put their guard down and they can be confident in their creations, and you can see this variety, which is hard to get with adults, because it's hard to get adults to tap into their imagination and kind of let themselves loose. I think now I'd be more comfortable for like colleges and stuff like that, or adults, or those larger crowds, just because you're constantly in people's eyes and you're just learning kind of how to deal with it, how to respond, how to express yourself, how to be your own certain level of confidence when expressing yourself.
All right, now the second one, he gets the formula, or the formula is like right in front of him. So we'll be from behind Plankton, so we can see like the shadow of his back of his head, right? And then
I know how to make Mr. Krabs.
Well, so when we get ready, you'll have it. So then we'll have Plankton from behind, with Plankton reaching out, and then reaching out to the formula with the spotlight on the formula. So it's like very obvious that this is what he was coming for, but it was reaching out for it, okay? So we're gonna have Plankton reaching out for it in the second panel.
Reaching out for what?
Yeah, so reaching out, and then the formula will be in the distance, but you know, you've seen like in a cartoon when you got like spotlight on something, and it's like, you know, they're playing that music, a violin playing or something like, right? Colors are changing, everything's happy.
But again, if someone would have just had a workshop where they were playing a ukulele and then juggling fire, not that I can juggle fire, but if I can someday, if someone did all that and then they were saying some Gibran, because he's one of my favorite my poets, Khalil Gibran-like philosophy, I would have listened a little bit more. I would have been like, all right, let's do this do art thing a little bit earlier than when I did it, but we're here now.
Okay, so what's going to be the last panel?
Me, Mr. Krabs.
You going to be the last panel?
I want to be on the last
You want to come up and pose as Mr. Krabs?
No.
No, you were thinking about it. You were this close.
Wait, I didn't like that.
Yeah. Come on.
But you need to be on the ground.
No, come on. We ain't going to do all that.
But you
So-
can just like stand up straight like.
You always ask me, so we get someone up here to do a pose. Let's get it. So, let's get it, Mr. Krabs. We're going to have Mr. Krabs scaring Plankton. And Plankton, how would Plankton look when he's scared? Remember, we drew a picture of a scared eye earlier today. So we're going to do a one-eyed person, and he's got to look very scared. So Mr. Krabs will be in the background. So we just drawn the silhouette she's doing perfect with the, what are the crabs got claws? Clamps? Clamps? You got claws, there we go. Get your claws in there so we can see that it is Mr. Krabs. And then he's got like the what? He's got like the long eyes.
Oh, no, he had long eyes.
King's jest. It was hid so carefully. Monks used to keep skulls on their desks. And people nowadays think that was very morbid. Everything's falling apart. So don't try and stop it. When you're falling off a precipice, it doesn't do you any good to hang onto a rock that's falling with you. See? But everything is doing that. And so, again, this is another case of our completely wasting our energy in trying to prevent the world from falling apart. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Put the N or Elfin, or however you want to end it, kablam. Darken up your lines, put some colors where you need it.
Done.
You all done? Alright, I want you guys to hold them in the air. I want to see them. I want to see these comics if you finished it. Yeah. Ah, nice onomatopoeia. Nice. Let me get a high five. Let me get it stable. Nice. And you got the thought bubble. And I like how this is like the secret eyes coming out of the darkness, right? Nice. Do we have any ones done? Oh, wow. This one's awesome. That panel. I love the ninja style. And you got the Mr. Krabs. Nice. You got one done? Can I see it? Brilliant! You did that so well with so little space. That was so good. Give me a fist bump. Nice! Hands up! Oh, the police show up? Nice! I love it. You went your own direction. Whoa. Wow. And you got Mr. Krabs show. Is that like the laser thing or is that?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, wow. You did so much in so little space. I got a high five. Very good. And I like how you have Plankton coming out of the panel. It's almost like he's coming at you, right? Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm coming to see yours, Jisa. Nice.
Wait, is that Gary?
That is brilliant. I love it. Oh,
Why did you
man.
make
Can I see it?
Why did you make
So say,
Gary?
you gotta put him, do it like that. So he's got Gary in the grave. So we just assume that Mr. Krabs did his thing with the claws, right? Oh, wow. And you got the chump bucket in there. You're done. Nice. You got the dialogue going. Can I see yours over here?
You're
Oh,
fired.
nice. All right.
You're fired.
When I began, I did not have this, so when I would get it, I wouldn't let anybody else carry it. Like Chet wasn't allowed to carry it, my mom wasn't allowed to break it down even. Like no one's allowed to touch it. I have two more of these, and still, just because the whiteboard is so crucial, but despite how much I love it, I hate putting it up. So like today, I don't have to. So it's like, everything is so much easier. Wow, I'm not even worried now about setup. We have all the time in the world. But just like a little joy like that did not exist, for instance, at the beginning. Whiteboard eraser.
Please come back in 2 weeks, so you would definitely fun. Everybody come up here if you want. Come up here, come up here, come up here. Come up here, come up here. Real quick, one last thing. You want to do it with me? Come up here, come up here, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. And give me some energy. Alright, real quick, this is the last thing, so use all of your energy for the day, alright? Alright, everybody in the room, if you yell it even helps, even if you're not on video. Even if you're not on video. When I say do, you say alright, do! 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 Alright, everybody clap as loud as you can. I had an awesome time. You guys very good. High five all around. You guys made comics, crazy comics. If you leave your comics for me, I do keep them and put them on my wall. So we will be back in 2 weeks, so remember to keep up. We keep having fun creating comics. I will have more surprises at every workshop. So this time you saw ukulele, there will definitely be something you've never seen before at the next one.
Especially with these 5-week programs, I didn't want to, like, for instance, none of them have seen the unicycle yet. So I've been doing that on purpose, and it's just kind of trying to use that magic of being able to, like, even when I was the Xavier, or not Xavier, but I kept referring to the dulcimer.
A banjo! Oh! It's not a banjo. It's
You're trying to cheat over here. Look, you even knew it when you said it out loud.
Like, I kept telling him at the beginning, and he was like, finally, he's like, all right, man, I gotta see.
Right.
And just the anticipation building just gives so much, especially when it's something so odd, like the juggling.
they're racist.
If I act like they're juggling balls, though.
Those are actually racist.
Yeah, they're racist. But if I act like they're juggling ball, like probably juggling, right? You think he's a...
Oh.
Wait, how do you?
That's dope. I could never juggle though. Hard.
The thing I don't like about the juggling is as soon as I juggle, they want to see me juggle 5 things. Or 6 things, or whatever.
Or plankton.
Or plankton. But with the unicycle, it's usually like the showstopper. So I'm saving that one there for the last day. And then I didn't actually necessarily see an opportunity where I could get the dulcimer in. And I wanted to kind of make sure I got to making the comic, because sometimes I don't get the chance to make a comic at a comic book workshop. And when I do, it always seems to be like I feel it a little bit more when the kids are like, well, when do we make comics? And it's like at the end, and you're like, man, I want to, but your parents are outside waiting, looking in the window right now. So that's why I kind of veered a little bit from the dulcimer today.
So you guys gotta keep that secret. You didn't see nothing. You didn't see nothing, alright? You forgot the name. I know you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
She's like Canada. It's the Canada, right? Like,
Yeah, it's Canada. I thought it was a Canada.
Everything's right over there. See it in the corner?